Hey gamers, welcome back to another video of me discussing anime. I just finished watching Gundam GQuuuuuX and I just have a lot of thoughts about it. Now, I've only seen G Gundam and Gundam Witch from Mercury, just to keep that in mind. I know there's others, and I've heard good things about like Gundam Wing and other Gundams, but I've not seen them yet. So there you have it. I'm just gonna talk about the Gundams I know. Uh, but going into this, I was excited for it because I've seen the movie that they released earlier, and it was very promising. I liked the animation, the music, the characters, and knowing that the people who made Fooly Cooley worked on this, I was actually very interested in what this was gonna be. Come to find out that this was the most disappointing anime I have seen so far this year, which is funny because I was expecting the Guilty Gear Dual Rulers anime to be disappointing. Like, I was ready to be let down by it, but actually, it was Gundam that let me down. There was just a lot of ideas in this Gundam that were just left on the table, and it was very frustrating by the end. Uh, the movie was edited differently. Like, it starts off with a flashback and then it ends like with the clan battles, which was interesting. Like, I like that idea more than what the show did. I understand why the show didn't do that, because they want to show the new characters first, so you kind of know them, and then they show you the flashback. But I kind of like the movie a little bit better. Uh, but man, like, I don't know how to really go about this, so this is gonna be a like kind of all over the place video. So I'm sorry. But the characters. Let's talk about Macho and Neon, because I know that this is gonna be a very somewhat controversial opinion, mostly in the sense that it's gonna sound like, well, it just sounds like you just want Yuri. You just want like two characters to like get romantic. That's not enough to ruin a show, but that's not really like my main complaint. Like, I do think that there was a lot of chemistry between Neon and Machi, more so than Shuji, but uh it's just a choice that in the first episode where Machu falls on Neon, it's shown in a very, like, if you take that scene out of context and you show it to anyone like down on the street, they're gonna assume, oh, are they dating? Like, they're just gonna assume that. So I feel like if you're giving these cues that kind of seem romantic in a way, and you're not gonna do that, that's kind of like, well, then why have that scene there in the first place? Like, why animate it that way? You could have animated it in any which way, and they chose that. It's just weird to me. Like, it was like, huh? Uh, but for them to just not have any development was weird. Between them, like, all the development hinged on Shuji, which was like, why Shuji was. I, I do think Shuji had a potential of being an interesting character, but they really did nothing with him. It was just, oh, he's weird. Oh, he Gundam's talking to him, and it's like, that's just not enough. Like, it's stuff that's like, people who are not fans of Kojima games tell you about why Kojima games are cool. Like, oh, it's so weird and quirky. Like, that's all Shuji was just a quirky guy, and there was really nothing. Like, every time they would try to like sell you on, oh, Machu's jealous of Neon for being close to Shuji. It's like, I don't see why. Like, why are they so fixated on Shuji? Like, Shuji does not give a fuck about them. And I've seen people like tell me, well, it's because he's a new type. That's just how they are. And I kind of disagree with that idea, because you could have written a character any which way, like, whatever. But knowing that Gundam GQuuuuuX references a lot of these older an older Gundam anime, I don't think that anime had characters that were this kind of dull. I'm just gonna venture out and say that I don't think the new types in the original show were this dull. Uh, just comparatively speaking, I refuse to believe that, because Shuji's a dull character that has nothing, that offers nothing. Like, take the plot twist that dropped near the end of the show. Uh, And imagine how much better it would have been if there was at least scenes that could be recontextualized after knowing that plot twist. Like after seeing that plot twist of where he's like the villain and he's like trying to he's not from this current world and he wants to destroy this world. Imagine how like how much of the Shuji scenes get recontextualized knowing that. Not a lot. Like you're not gonna really be thinking about that. To the point where it I kind of wonder if Gundam GQuuuuuX was supposed to be something else. And it kind of feels that way. Look at the clan battles. Like, that offered absolutely nothing to the story. When Macha got arrested or whatever, nothing happened to her mom. There was nothing, no drama there. Like, it was just these weird ideas that go nowhere. And you already have an interesting theme of freedom. Like you have Machu, who is a sheltered character who grew up in the middle class, and she hates going to school. Like just kid shit. Whatever. She gets in over her head. All this stuff. You have Neon, who is an immigrant. She was trying to find a better life and just make ends meet. All that kind of stuff. You have these two people trying to find freedom in their own definition. So you already have an interesting idea there, and it doesn't do anything with it. Like it just leaves it on the table and just focuses on Shuji of all things. And Shuji has nothing is not interesting enough to carry the show. The clan battles again are trivialized and meaningless. Like they're interesting in the beginning, and then it just means nothing. Like they introduced I can't remember her name, but she dies in the 4th episode. She shows up, and it's like Shuji kills her, and it's supposed to be a very like deep moment. Like it was fucked up what Machu saw. The next episode, she kind of like is dealing with that, but that's like a 1 minute scene, and then she's off doing other stuff, and it's like trivialized. Why? Like this was a 12 episode run, and it felt like it needed to be longer. Like I kind of wonder if during development there was some kind of drama or issue where they couldn't get more episodes, or it's just the story was overly ambitious. I feel like the idea of it incorporating an older Gundam was a very ambitious idea and a risky one because this Gundam that it's referencing is a very old Gundam. You're kind of running the risk of is that even readily available to watch? Like I said this when I talk about Ava Rebuild, the newest movie. Because right before that movie even came to theaters or release on Amazon, they put the original show on Netflix at the time. And it was very clear why they did that. Like, because when you watch the last movie, it does reference the show, but they at least put the show out on Netflix that you can watch and all of that. So, like, they made it readily available. But if you watch the Rebuild movies, even without the show, I feel like the Rebuild movies stayed on their own pretty well. Like, say what you will about the Rebuild movies, but I have seen the Rebuild movies without watching the show, and I was able to follow along what the show was about. For the most part, I mean, sure, the show would give you a better understanding and a deeper insight, but you can watch the Rebuild movies and have just enough to understand what the movie's about. GQuuuuuX doesn't really do that enough. Like, namely the 11th episode where they reveal that Shuji came from this other world and he wants to destroy it. Like, the reveal of that Gundam, I'm sure for like Gundam nuts, they were pogging off. They had thoughts. They were like bouncing. But for people who have not seen any of these older Gundams, it's like okay, I mean, this is cool. I understand this is an old one, but all right, like. I feel there needed to be more development on this. Like, I feel like the idea to introduce more heavily into these ideas of, like, the older Gundam show or whatever, it should have started with that. I think the clan battles were just kind of, like, filler at this point. Like, and I think there was an interview where the guy said that initially the clan battles were going to have a bigger role in the show, but they decided not to do that, and it's very clear that that was the idea because they really just leave everything in that first half of the show behind and they don't really talk about it. Like, you don't ever see Aniki until like the very end. You don't see Machu's mom until like the very end, basically. Like, nothing from the first half is that even important. Like all that stuff is just kind of like filler, which is a shame. Uh, and again, like you had this cool idea with like Machu and Neon and where they came from and pursuing freedom. Uh, there's a part in the show where they kind of get separated. Machu gets detained. Neon ends up being recruited or whatever by Cassilia, which it's an interesting idea. Like she finally gets her own form of freedom. Like she's not a wanted uh immigrant or whatever anymore. Like she has no risk of being detained anymore because she's with Cassilia's uh army or whatever. And it's like okay, like these are like interesting like dynamics. Like they're in a way their roles are reversed. Like one is an actual detained prisoner and the other one has a little bit more freedom because she can actually go wherever. It's just that she's uh you know a member of Cassilia's army or whatever, but still more freedom than what Machu ends up getting. But they don't do anything with that, and there's not enough development. Like that's the other thing that was kind of bothering me is that they kind of separate them in these two areas, and they don't really develop any dynamic. Like when Chalia or Charlia, I can't remember his name. I think it's Chalia, but whatever. Blue haired guy, facial hair dude who's after Char the Red Gundam the whole time. They don't develop anything between them that's meaningful. Like there's some like back and forth, but it's not meaningful to the point where it's like why would Machu like go along with this? Like why is she like, doing like in one of the episodes like they kind of like let her escape because they're like, yeah, yeah, we're tracking her. Just let her leave. We'll just follow her and see where she's gonna go. She won't know. She's whatever. And it's like okay, that's fine. That's like a good setup. But after that, she was just like kind of like doing whatever. She was kind of like an honorary member of the team instead of like you know their roles basically. Like it was just weird, and there's really no. And then same thing with like Cassilia and Neon. Like why why was Neon like so willing to fight for Cassilia? Like it got to the point where like Machu was like asking her like why are you like doing what she wants or whatever, and she says I don't even know. Like I'm sure like to a point it's like it is kind of unfair to bring that up, but I do think it's a good criticism because again there's a lot of potential to have drama between these two characters that were friends at one point, splintered off, and then they're enemies. Like, but they all keep revolving around Shuji, which I felt nothing about this character, and it was just kind of frustrating that it's like you have a more interesting dynamic with Machu and Neon, and instead of doing that, you're focusing on this nonsensical relationship that they have with Shuji, which I don't really think is that interesting. Uh, the stuff with the Char is interesting. Like there's all these interesting ideas that get bogged down by just rushed execution. Uh and again, like as I said with the Ava rebuilds, these movies can stand on their own pretty well and like you can follow them pretty well. I feel like Gundam GQuuuuuuX, half the stuff like goes over my head, and I know someone's gonna say, well, you should have watched the original, but I don't even know which Gundam it is that I would need to watch, and I didn't even know I would need to watch it because again, Gundam GQuuuuuuX is like a 2025 anime, and all it said was Gundam GQuuuuuuX. Like, yeah, they had a flashback of like Char in the movie, but it's like, do I really need to watch an old anime to understand this? Like, I don't know. Like, and I also felt that this anime, what I thought the execution of the approach that they were gonna do was if you've never seen the old anime, you watch this, like it so much that you'd want to watch the original to see like the differences or whatever. And then people who watch the original can enjoy this and see the differences or whatever. Like that's what I thought was the approach, was that you could kind of like go between the two or whatever. Like you can watch the rebuild movies first and then watch the show and then be like, "Oh," and then things will like start to like really hit or whatever. But this show doesn't really do that very well. I don't think, because again a lot I got distracted more about these ideas that go nowhere. Uh I like the drama between Machu and Lala, but again like I don't know the significance of Lala and Char. Like like I don't know the significance of that, and then the main character of that show, I don't understand that. Like, and then like to bring it back to Shuji, like what's Shuji's relevance to that? Like Shuji's a new character for GQuuuuuuX. Like they don't explain why, like why was Shuji involved? Like if I watch the original, am I gonna see a character that's like Shuji or something? Like I don't quite get the point of Shuji at that point. Uh, and again, he was not an interesting character. Like there's nothing interesting about him that would make it interesting to see this plot twist. Like again, the plot just seemed like it came out of nowhere. Like it just seemed random. Like and then Shuji shows up, and then he's like, I'm actually gonna destroy the universe. Like that's kind of how it sounded like. It did sound like they didn't know where to go, and so they got, yeah, just bring Shuji back. Yeah, just do that. It's like, really? Like this is what we're doing? And then you have this scene where Machu sees Shuji, and like Machu follows him, and then Neon just sees him and starts barking, Shuji, Shuji. It's like the dialogue is just not good. It's just not there for these characters. Like they bring up this other issue with the Gundam that Neon pilots, where it's like, oh, these other pilots that pilot this Gundam, they got fucked up, and it's like, okay, like, are we gonna see Neon like get fucked up? And they don't really do anything with that. And then the ending where it just has like Neon be like, yeah, let's be Mavs, Machu. And it's like, this is supposed to be like a very like impactful scene, and it just wasn't there. Like because all of the interactions Machu and Neon had were not interesting interactions. They all talked about Shuji the whole time. Like they didn't talk about anything other than Shuji. Like that's the dialogue we're going with these two. There's a scene where Machu starts to understand Neon's position. Like understands like, oh, I see why she was the way that she was. Like this is not like it was this big like impactful scene, but that never comes into play, and it doesn't really mean anything. Like it's weird. It's a weird conundrum with this show, and like I know like bring it like talking about like, oh, I wish like like there was more to do with Neon and Machu. Like I've seen people like kind of reduce that criticism to like, you just want Yuri. You're just upset that like they're not dating, and it's like that's not even my complaint. Like I think that they probably have more of a romantic interest than with Shuji, to be completely honest. But when you have these two characters that again come with two different backgrounds, and Machu's in a position where she starts to understand a little bit better where Neon's coming from, and that to mean nothing is kind of like, what are we doing? Like why are we focusing on this nonsense with Shuji all the time? Like I just feel like Shuji was like dead weight to the story. The clan battles are a waste of time. They bring up Anki, and like what was the point? Like there was this no point to the beginning half of the show. Like you could kind of take it away and it'll mean nothing. Like this anime on all fronts was very disappointing. Like I didn't really care for the dialogue at all, and I do feel like, you know, if this show is hung on the crux of you need to watch the original to enjoy it, I kind of think that also fails, because uh when you're trying to incorporate something that's like so many years removed, you kind of have to assume that you're not going to get just the veterans of that show to watch. Like you're going to be speaking to a whole new audience, so you should also try to make it be able to stand on its own. I That's why I feel like Rebuild understood that better. Rebuild has issues. Sure, I'm not going to sit here and say Rebuild was like the definitive way to experience Ava, but I think it was more competent in what it set out to do than what GQuuuuuuX ended up doing. It just seemed meandering, and it needed a lot more episodes, generously, than anything else. If you're going to do a 12 episode run, I think you really need to just find something to convey that story better. Like some of the conflicts that Macho runs into with can't remember that guy's name. The guy that she was like locked in a locker with. I can't remember his name. The cuck that got his Gundam stolen, basically, that guy. Uh, they don't really do anything with him. The fight that he has with Charlie or whatever, like, is kind of like, okay, like the politics aspect of GQuuuuuuX was kind of the weaker aspect, and I think, and this is kind of funny to me. When I was watching Gundam Witch from Mercury, one of the things I said about it was like the mech scenes, they weren't bad. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say that they were awful or shitty, but they they weren't that like great to watch. Like I wasn't like some out of the spectacle episodes where the fights were actually like the highlight. A lot of them are just like okay, like whatever. But the politics of Witch from Mercury were interesting. The stuff with Prospero was interesting. Like it had a lot of interesting ideas that it developed pretty well throughout the show. Like it was a good political drama, and I think Gundam kind of has a decent uh deal with that. But then you watch GQuuuuuuX, and it's just kind of like you kind of forget a lot about the political drama. Like I kind of forgot the deal with where Machu is from, like that town, where Neon was coming from, like all this stuff. I kind of forgot about. Like it just was there. Like I don't know. Like there was really nothing that was like really playing into the politics enough. And again, like you have Machu being like labeled a terrorist, and then like we don't see what happens to the mom. Like is the mom in trouble? Is she gonna be questioned too? Like where is this all gonna go? Like it just had all these questions, and it's just. But the fight scenes were good. These scenes with the Gundams were pretty decent. It's just everything else was very like disappointing. Like the other aspect was when Neon was piloting the GQuuuuuuX, I was very interested to see. Oh, this is gonna be interesting because she finally gets exposed to the Kira Kira, and she was like, "This is what the Kira Kira is," and she starts doing this crazy stuff. She grabs Shuji by the head, uses him as a human shield, all this stuff, like just and willing to kill the opposition. I'm like, okay, this is gonna come into play. Like maybe when Machu catches up to her, she's gonna like talk to her like, Neon, that's fucked up. You look what you did. You killed people or whatever. And instead, the scene was relegated to I that was my Gundam. I was supposed to be there with Shuji, and I was just like, that's your hang up. Like this person had issues with Shuji killing someone in the 4th episode. She sees Neon just without any hesitation just do the same, and it's like, dude, that's my spot. That's the dialogue, and then like when they go back to the scene where they first met, it's not even to continue the dialogue or the issue. It was just we gotta save Shuji, dude. Like, I mean that narratively did make sense. Like, yeah, like they're gonna find the red Gundam. Like I understood that, but it was just they could have talked about other stuff too. Like these two characters have a lot of stuff going on, and they don't really. I feel they don't get any meaningful resolution with anything. Again, like Neon pilots the GQuuuuuuX. She did it for Machu, basically. She finally meets Machu in the sewers or whatever, thinking that Machu is gonna be happy. The little pod robot thing, like, was scared of Neon. Like the bot ran to hide behind Machu as it was terrified. And instead, that goes nowhere. And it just means nothing. And then when they became Mavs at the end, it's like, okay. Like, there was no meaningful resolution at all. Like, it almost seemed they became Mavs out of, like, convenience of the plot or the necessity of the plot than anything else. So it was very disappointing. Like, I honestly don't know why this show turned out the way it did. And I kind of don't think if I watched the original, my opinion would change on this. Like, I'm sure the original is good. I'm not gonna like dog on the original, but I just think this is just the biggest missed opportunity I have seen. Like, I've watched this show, and throughout the whole time, I'm like, oh man, Not gonna do anything with this. Okay, like it was just left on the table. Like even the commentary on the theme of freedom doesn't go anywhere. Like it's anything meaningful or interesting. Like again, Machu was a sheltered character, and she has no like she gets almost no appreciation to where Nyan was coming from, basically, and it's just sad. And then the at the very end, when they're on the beach, again, it ends on we gotta see Shuji again, and it's like this is where we're gonna end it. Like I'm sure they may have plans to continue this, but I don't think I have no faith it's gonna be good because all the interesting stuff is long gone. At that point, if the if they do another season of this and it it addresses all of my issues with it, it would just tell me that all the second season was a band-aid fix to the issues because a lot of this stuff should have been in the first season for the most part. Like it just it's sad to see what this anime became as it went on. Like the first episode promising, second episode promising, and then it just went on and on and on to be the most disappointing show I have seen. Like I don't want to like I don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, this show is garbage," but it's just I kind of couldn't believe what I was watching to the point where like it was just eye candy. It was just eye candy with good music, and that's kind of it. The story is the most disappointing aspect of it. All the things they could have done with it was left on the table. So I mean, if I were to rate it, I kind of want to give it a 5 out of 10. Like it was just a very underwhelming show. It left a lot on the table for me to even get into it, and the excuse of the new types I don't even think is a good excuse because I refuse to believe if I watch the original I'm gonna have the same complaints. I just don't think that. Because again, you could have interesting like they have characterization for Machu, and she's a new type, but they can't have her feel empathy. I don't know. And there's like, well, empathy. New types don't feel empathy. They feel it differently. It's like okay, but they could have done anything else. Like again, they had more feelings for for Shuji that had no feelings for them. Like it was just kind of like pathetic. And again, I don't think Shuji's a good as a well written character. I mean honestly, I think he's another lost opportunity. Like I get the trope of him being a weirdo, a weird guy that has insights on Gundams or whatever, but they don't do anything with him that's interesting. They could have done other things that kind of foreshadowed the plot twist, but they don't. Like you could watch the plot twist, rewatch Gundam GQuuuuuX, and then I don't think the scenes are gonna change much. Maybe the scene with the graffiti is gonna be a little bit different, but that's it. It's just nothing else. Just a huge missed opportunity, and I kind of feel like it talking a lot about other realities, other worlds, other possibilities, kind of diminished what was there anyway. Like I kind of wonder if it was even worth introducing a multiverse idea. Like I kind of don't know if that was even worth it. For the story again, like this idea is a very ambitious idea, but if you can't pull it off, you're gonna get this. Like this is what happens when an ambitious idea like falls on its face. I can appreciate that the attempt, but it's just too many ideas that just don't come together at all remotely. So that's my my opinion on on Gundam GQuuuuuX. I just wanted to get that out of there. Like this, I feel this is kind of what people were afraid of with the Final Fantasy VII remakes because the remake is a completely different story that integrates the original story and a new story and all this stuff. Like I feel GQuuuuuX is kind of the fear realized of what could happen, basically. Though I'd argue Final Fantasy VII Remake, for the most part, between Remake and Rebirth, has kind of stuck the landing so far. I mean, we haven't seen what the third and final game is going to be, but it has done a better job with it than GQuuuuuuX has, unfortunately. But that's my opinion on it. Uh, and I'm curious to see how many people agree with my take for the most part. Uh, it is what it is. It is a fun watch, but it's kind of a disappointing one by the end. I did love the music when the Gundam showed up in episode 11 and it played Beyond. Great song, love that song. The end credits theme, great song, love that song. The intro is pretty good, good song. But it has a lot of good music, and that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.